That brings us to item number 11, which is our superintendent's report, and I will turn it over to Dr. Hefner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We've had many exciting things occur, even since our last meeting. I'll just mention a few of the major highlights of recent weeks. Kelly Reese, an assistant principal at Lake Murray Elementary School, was named the 2018 South Carolina Assistant Principal of the Year. So our congratulations to Ms. Reese. The Dutch Fork High School cheerleaders won the state 5A cheerleading competition for the second consecutive year. The Chapin High School cheerleading team won the state 4A competition for the second consecutive year, and I think for the 13th time in the last 15 years, something to that effect. And our Dutch Fork High School football team won the state 5A football championship in a game that came down to the last few seconds of the game. They pulled it out and have won for the second consecutive year, which only the 5A group has only existed for 2 years. So Dutch Fork High School is the only team that's ever won that particular competition. So congratulations to all of them and to all of the many wonderful things going on here in our system. At this time, we'll go to our Office of Finance and Operations, and Mr. Richardson will present this next portion of the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Dr. Hefner. Members of the board, tonight we've got Dawn Strickland, a partner with McGregor and Company, here to present the 2016-2017 comprehensive annual financial report for the district.
Good evening. I'm Dawn Strickland with McGregor and Company, as Mr. Richardson just mentioned. We have completed the audit of the district's financial statements for the year ended June 30th, 2017. In conjunction with our audit, we've issued the independent auditor's report on the financial statements. And if you are following in the audit report, our independent auditor's report is on page 17. And in this report, we have issued an unmodified opinion on the financial statements, which means that they are materially correct and in conformity with accounting principles generally accepted in the United States. Then on pages 33 and 35, we can look briefly at the fund financials, and this is the basis in which you prepare your budget and maintain your books. And the main operating fund for the district, the general fund, this is, I'm looking at page 35. And you began for the general fund in the first column, you began the year with a fund balance of $37,072,772. You had an increase for the year of $1,263,465 to arrive at an ending fund balance for the general fund of $38,336,237. And we'll also have the special projects and the Education Improvement Act in the separate columns there, and along with the debt service and the capital projects. And the debt service ended the year with a fund balance of $5,451,625, and the capital projects ended the year with a fund balance of $11,533,110. Now, a couple pages before that, on page 31, this is the statement of net position, which is the fund financials where we include the capital assets and the debt of the district. The main item I wanted to point out, and this comes up in a lot of discussions, is the pension liability that is required to be presented in the financials, and this is your percentage of the state's retirement plan. And you will see that in the liabilities section, the last item, the net pension liability. It has an amount of $245,845,566 presented here as a liability. This is an increase from last year of $19,781,793. And this is from the actuarial tables of the state's retirement plan. In conjunction with this audit, we have also issued 2 other reports, and they can be found in the back of the financials. And starting on page 167 is our report on the internal control and compliance in accordance with government auditing standards. In our report on the internal control over financial reporting and compliance, we noted 1 finding dealing with material audit adjustments. And in the report on compliance for major federal programs under the uniform guidance, we had no findings to report on compliance or on the internal control over the major programs that were selected for testing. I would be happy to entertain any questions you have at this point.
Any questions from any board members at this point? Ms. Hutchison?
Really, I just wanted to share that I had talked to Lynn Richardson prior to this, and he said that he has a report that he'll share with the rest of the board because I had just a few questions, and so I said, yeah, that would be great just to share it with the rest of the board. Is
Ms.
that right?
Hutchison, I wanted to tell you, on the last page,
Uh-huh.
I did not realize it was in here, it's the response to the finding.
Oh,
that
it
we-
is?
Yes, ma'am.
What page is that?
176.
Oh, and so that's what you were talking about?
Yes, sorry.
Okay.
Did not realize it was back there.
Okay, okay, good. I didn't know what it was. Thank you.
Ms. Hammond?
I want to be sure I understood. The pension liability percentage of state retirement, what we as a district is paying, it's a 19 million increase. Did I write that down?
That is the total liability for the district.
And then there's a certain amount as that goes up that the state has to pay, correct? Or do they pass it on to the actual employee?
You will be assessed in your monthly contributions, the amount that's assessed per each, based on the salaries.
Right.
For the employee and the employer. This is the total liability for how they calculate it is the whole plan has a total liability, and you take your percentage of all the contributions in the whole system, and it's based on the district's percentage of this.
So, but
this
the
is
increase is
liability.
19 million?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from anyone? We appreciate your compiling the report. We appreciate the findings on behalf of our board. We appreciate the hard work that goes on in our financial office. Mr. Richardson, you and your staff would be commended. I take it no material findings mean that this is a clean audit for all practical purposes, and you've looked for a long time at a lot of numbers, and we really appreciate your work on this. So,
Thank you, and I do appreciate Dr. Hefner and Mr. Richardson's cooperation with it.
thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Strickland, and continue on, Mr. Richardson.
Thank you, Dr. Hefner. In your board packet, in Exhibit C are the monthly financial reports for the month of October. For the month of October, we collected $10,613,103. We expended $15,003,106. For the year, we've collected $31,653,554 and expended $42,814,725 through the month of October. I have the detail behind all of this information that if you've got any specific questions, I'll be glad to try to answer them at this time.
Any questions from board members? I'm sure if you have any later, Mr. Richardson will be glad to do that too.
Thank you. That is the end of my report.
Thank you, Mr. Richardson, and that concludes the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Dr. Hefner. That brings us to public participation.